So what will give you the best pump, the most strength, all of that stuff when you're working out? Well, I can tell you that you haven't found the magic white crystal yet. And I'm talking about this guy here. No. Okay, let's start over. Scratch that. So you're looking for the best supplement to add to your pre-workout. You already know that beta-alanine is really good, L-citrulline, caffeine, all of those have been studied over and over again to show performance improvement. However, you haven't found the white crystal. And yes, I'm talking about salt. So you can add salt to your daily regimen when you're taking the pre-workout. What I do, I add Himalayan salt. Why Himalayan salt? Because if you look at just regular table salt here, NaCl, that's all you're getting, sodium and chloride. If you look at Himalayan salt, here's the list of all the vitamins and minerals that's in Himalayan salt. You can see that it's quite a few. Sea salt is another fantastic one. Here are all the ingredients that are in sea salt. A lot more than just NaCl, huh? So a lot of you are probably thinking, why should I listen to this bozo? So let's start from the beginning. So not having enough salt has actually killed some athletes. So there was an NFL player, I believe it was 2003, by the name of Corey Stringer. So he died of a heat stroke. So not having enough salt, not having enough liquid or other electrolytes is a giant contributor when it comes to heat stroke. So if you're a young athlete or an athlete in general, you should be replenishing yourself with many electrolytes. So look at some of these people that do ultras, or they do just a regular marathon. If they drink a lot of water and they just start running, they're gonna cramp up pretty bad. And if it's a real hot day, they're gonna lose a lot of electrolytes, and if you don't have your electrolytes, we saw what happened to Corey here, and I don't want that to be you. So in 2002, there was a Boston Marathon runner that was only 28 years old, and guess what? She died as well, and they went back and they looked at everything, and once again, hyponatremia, or low salt, was the main reason as to why she died. So if you really want me to, I can go ahead and make another video going into all the scientific and nerdy stuff, talking about why you need salt and what happens at the cellular blood level. But anyway, I'm just going to stick to the main idea here. Well anyway, you're probably thinking, okay, I don't run marathons, I don't work out for more than an hour, how is salt going to help me? So think of it this way. Somebody who is bigger, maybe has a little bit more fat on them, they're going to be stronger than you. Think about it when you're bulking and you're cutting. You're stronger when you're bulking, right? Well, your cells also have a little bit more nutrients. They can feed off of that. So why does creatine work? Because it gives your cells water. That's why they say that creatine allows you to hold water weight. So when you stop taking creatine, you lose that water weight. So your cells are more filled up with water. They're replenished more. Same thing happens with salt. You take a lot of salt before you go ahead and work out. Guess what? The cells are going to uptake all that water and more nutrients. And guess what? You're going to be stronger. You're going to be able to do more. Why? Because your cells, they're not hungry. They're not starving. So I talked about creatine a little bit. Well, guess what? Salt also helps your muscles uptake creatine. So even if you aren't on a creatine supplement, creatine helps your muscles have more ATP. This is going into the nerdy side a little bit. So ATP is basically the energy source for your muscles. Like I said, I can make another video talking about all that nerdy stuff, but your muscles need ATP, and salt allows them to have more ATP through creatine. Creatine then allows your muscles to uptake more glycogen or sugar or more energy. Glycogen is basically stored carbohydrates, stored carbs, which are held in your liver, and therefore your muscles have more energy that way. So once again, you're not starving your muscles, you're feeding them properly. So just salt intake overall will increase your cells to not be as hungry, to be able to push more, do more, and this is why you need to add salt to your pre-workout. So personally what I do is I add a half tablespoon and I add it to my pre-workout. Even if I'm not taking pre-workout, if I'm going for a run, I'll go ahead and mix it with some Gatorade or something. So look at Gatorade, for example. Gatorade's full of sodium, sugar, and many other vitamins and minerals that you need to work out for a prolonged period of time. I also know that some people right now are saying, Austin, but everything's full of salt. Everything the American diet is so saturated with salt, we're getting more than we need already. Which, yes, is true if you are not an athlete, if you're not working out. So not having enough salt is worse for you than having too much salt to a certain point. So in my nerdy video, I'm going to talk about this, but I just want to briefly talk about it here. So if you have any diseases such as congestive heart failure, or your kidneys are not working properly, then I highly suggest that you don't overdo it on salt. Maybe a little bit, but in the first place, you're not supposed to have any salt. I talked about this a little bit on one of my lives, and some people who have congestive heart failure, salt will make them have edema, and that's why they get big and puffy, and that's why they take Lasix. Anyway, whole different topic. Right now, I'm talking about athletes here, and why athletes need to add salt to the pre-workout. So that's what I want you to do next time you take a pre-workout, even if you don't take a pre-workout. So yes, like I said in the beginning, beta-alanine, L-citrulline, caffeine, all that is shown to have an athlete perform better. Just try adding a little bit of salt. Like I said, if you don't take pre-workout, add the salt. You do take pre-workout, add that sucker in. You're not going to taste it anyway, just add a few dashes. But anyway, many athletes have also passed out from not having enough salt. Not just dying, but for example, Nick Bear ran a marathon a few years ago anyway, but he loaded up on water. He's like, oh, I'm going to be so hydrated for the next day. But he didn't supplement with electrolytes. So therefore, when he started running the marathon, he started cramping up real bad. His cells weren't hydrated, but they weren't also filled with nutrients. So basically, they were starving. So yes, they had a lot of water, but that water has nothing in it that you actually need. And if you're running a marathon, you can lose up to 7 grams of sodium per hour. So I didn't actually measure out how much salt is 7 grams, but here's a picture of 10 grams of salt. And you can see that's a lot of salt. So, like I said before, try this, put in the comments how you feel, and especially if you're an endurance athlete, add some of that salt. Even if you're a track and field athlete, add some of that salt if you're doing like the shorter distances, the sprints. Why? Because your cells are going to be fueled. Same thing goes if you're just going to the gym for whatever reason. You want a good workout? Add salt to your pre-workout.